Good morning, lovelies. It is story time. So grab a cup of coffee or hot tea, or if you are watching this in the evening, maybe a cocktail or a glass of wine, and let's go down memory road together. My mom loved antique shops, thrifting, vintage, anything unique, boutiques. There's a place north of Houston. It's called Old Town Spring, and every year at Christmas time, my mom and I had an annual date where we would go to Old Town Spring. It's a little old, Old Town Spring, right? Um, they have little cute wooden shops. I don't know how to explain it, so maybe I'll pop in a couple of pictures so that you guys can see what Old Town Spring looks like. But it's a lot of boutiques and specialty shops, antique shops, restaurants, wineries, just a whole little area that's really a destination place. If you live in Houston or you're visiting Houston and you've never been to Old Town Spring, I would highly recommend that you visit. It's really lovely, especially the holidays. The holidays, I mean, the whole place is just magical. Everything is decorated for Christmas. So I highly recommend Old Town Spring, or if you haven't been in a while, revisit. Take your family. It's fun for kids. It's a lovely place to go on a date. So anyway, highly recommend. But our little annual event, my mom and I, was to go and look at the vintage shops and the antique shops and the specialty shops. And I lost my mom a couple of years ago. And so haven't been back. It's been kind of a bittersweet memory for me. But this past weekend, I was in downtown Conroe, and Conroe has an older downtown. It's one of those, if you're driving through the country and you run into a little town, there's this cute little downtown that's in a circle, and there's usually a courthouse in the middle, and there's usually antique shops and specialty shops around the downtown, and little restaurants, usually a cafe, something like that. So I was in downtown Conroe, and something that I've wanted for a really long time is an antique crystal candy dish. I think most of us, when we were growing up, our great grandparents had these precious crystal candy dishes. Often, the excitement of being a child was to run into grandma's house and go for the candy dish, and all the candy would be stuck together. And our parents would tell us, no, 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 don't touch that candy. It's probably 200-year-old candy, right? So we would be shooed away from the candy. But it wasn't the candy. It was the memory. It was the memory of that beautiful dish at grandma's house or great grandma's house, or maybe our parents' house. Maybe you even have one of these beautiful dishes in your home. So for the past couple of years, I've really wanted one. The nostalgia has gotten to me, and I've looked online, and I've looked in shops when I've been in shops, little resale shops and things, but just never found the right candy dish. And as I was in Conroe this past weekend, I found this little shop. It's called Mimi's on Main, and inside it's an antique mall, and inside there are several shops with, I guess, several shop owners. And so I had so much fun in this shop. It reminded me so much of my great grandparents, my grandparents, and especially my time with my mom. And it's almost the holidays. This would be about the time that my mom and I would be planning our trip to Old Town Spring. And so it brought back a lot of beautiful memories for me. I just took my time browsing through this beautiful antique shop. And the fun thing was there was an older couple there, probably in their mid to late 80s, also browsing the shop. And it was more fun watching them than browsing myself, because they were going through things and just having the fondest memories of things that they were finding in the shop. And we ended up at the counter together. I did find a beautiful crystal candy dish that I'm going to show you. But we ended up at the counter together, and the woman, she was checking out, and I asked her, I said, "Is that your husband?" And she said, "Yes." And during this time, I mean, I knew it was her husband. They were holding hands and giggling like children. They were just precious. And I said, "How long have the two of you been married?" And her husband turned around and said 66 years. He was so proud of his beautiful wife, his bride, and their time together. And they started telling me stories of where they lived and how they had just sold their ranch and moved into town. And it was just really, really sweet. A beautiful day. And I highly recommend, if you haven't been to an antique shop or a thrift shop or a vintage shop in a while, go check it out. Have fun. Make some memories. But if you have adult children, maybe go with them on a little date, or your husband or your boyfriend. It was just such a beautiful treat for me. When I walked in, the whole place smelled delicious. They had a beautiful candle burning. They had coffee and cookies to greet you and offered me coffee and cookies, and I browsed with my coffee and my cookie. It was lovely. But I did find a candy dish that I wanted to show you guys. So here it is from Mimi's on Main in Conroe. And the attendant wrapped it so nicely for me. And I actually had found two that I really liked. One kind of large one, and then a smaller one. And I had them both sitting on the counter. And I asked the couple, "Which one do you like the best?" And the woman said, "The smaller one, dear. Get the small one." And so that's what I did. And it is just beautiful. It still has the string from the tag attached. But look at this beautiful crystal top. And it's in excellent condition. There are no chips. Isn't that pretty? And then here's the bottom. This gorgeous crystal bottom. Isn't that lovely? Just sparkly and precious, and reminds me so much of my grandparents and my great-grandparents' home. Look at that dish. It is absolutely perfect. Now I'll keep it up high because I have two 2.5-year-old granddaughters. I don't want to break it, so we'll wait until they're a little older to get into it. But I do also have my two preteen granddaughters as well, who are going to just adore this. So I hoped you liked that little story today. It brought such beautiful, fond memories of my mother. I miss her so much, and I hope it also brought back some really sweet memories for you as well, being in your grandparents' house, or your parents' house, or your great-grandparents' house. Or maybe you have a beautiful dish like this in your home. I'd love to hear about your dish and maybe see pictures of it. You all have a beautiful day.